Hello, welcome back, shiny one. I can see you. I can see you. So, blindly manifesting. We're going along in life here. We're going through feeling mode, not so much in the mind. We're knowing where our thoughts will lead us if we go so much and try to investigate them, right? It brings in certain emotions that we may not like and feel comfortable with. So, we're being mindful of how we're feeling. And so we're moving along here through feeling mode, but we may not be able to see that in which we are manifesting, which we would like to manifest as far as our life. And this is big for some of you too, is when you look at like, how you're getting your money, your business, perhaps you have one. Those of us who have practices like this and are healers or done the guru thing, or being that up there for other people who are coming into their realization and coming home to themselves during the shift. And we've moved through the shift too, and right now for a lot of us, there's pauses going on, and usually there's a pause before manifestation anyway, because that's how manifestation works. Energy's moving in the background. You just distract yourself, get onto something else, and keep that feeling, of it being there, very present, as if it is already happening. And this is that age-old alchemical process of bringing something that you want into your life. We get this. But during the change recently, it's a totally new territory in which we're faced with, those of us who've done a lot of work, inner work with ourselves. And we've come to this point. Now we have a whole new platform to play with. And this was always discussed as the fifth dimensional platform or frequencies in which we can now zoom and create such a huge, abundant, everlasting, eternal, abundant realm here. And that's what we came here to do, um, to bring consciousness to a starving place. And we succeeded. It's done. There's changes now going on. And so blindly manifesting, meaning that when you want something, you may not see it right away, like in this day or even tomorrow. And sometimes it just goes on for a pretty long time. You may be still recalibrating. There could be some things, happening. Not only just one thing. So everything's multidimensional. You're matching up to that version of yourself in which you're going to be living through that manifestation. And so, and it's the process along the way. It's never the arrival per se. It's always the process, and we will always discuss that around the round turning table. The grand round table is the process, it's the journey, it's never the destination. There's nothing's ever finished. We will all leave this place undone, unfinished, which is beautiful. And so it's just this ever changing, everlasting cycle of, and now we can really reach for that creativity, and we're really zooming. I'm seeing a lot of you do that. We have the social media platform space, which is wonderful. We can get these messages out. It's great. And thank you again so much for being here, because I can feel your presence. And so I had a dream one night, and it was years ago. And in the dream, I was driving on the highway, and I was in the fast lane. And I was going around the bend, the fast lane, real fast. Usually I don't drive that fast. I don't know kilometers, but in mile per hour, it was about 85 mile per hour. It's pretty fast. But I couldn't see. And there was a car coming on to the other side of me. And I was scared because I couldn't see anything. But then it kicked in. I could see. I could see without seeing. And it was a pretty cool experience, because at first I had to break through this layer, real thick layer of being frightened that I was going to crash. And it was very real. So in that dream alone, I woke up and like, wow, look at that. It stayed with me. Very potent dreams like that can stay with you forever, and just bring it right up in a second as a example in what you're talking about, like this. And seeing without seeing. Like, I'm not seeing it, but it doesn't matter. And this is what we're doing. We're playing with what was considered the make-believe. It's not reality. It's like we're playing with the imagination, but the imagination is where everything comes out to the being. And so everything has to do with the feeling of already having it, and that was the trick. And that's why a lot of people who don't, you're here in this lifetime, and haven't come home all the way to the self, but are magical manifestors, people in the corporate world who are really abundant with, goods and services and everything that they want. And because they're always feeling good, they're up and feeling good. They meet that platform meets them uh, on that level, and so it's making peace with what is. So when you make peace with what is, and that's it right there, and that's what we're doing is we're staying longer as the shift is more underway. We're staying and experiencing something brand new in which we've never done before because we're over the I'm not okay. And now we're going into the fruition of being okay. And, life is boring. It just is. It's boring. But it's fun. It can be fun, fast, furious, uh, elating. It can, this is the whole thing of moving into this newness that we have. And it's wonderful. But there's many times of that period where there's the rest and nothing's going on, but you're okay. And you notice that we're now moving through the feeling mode, which is considered the feminine. Everybody talked about like how we're moving into the feminine. We're fully in it. It's all about the feeling. It had nothing to do with men, woman, male, female. It had to do with how we're moving by a feeling mode as a group. And before we were very mental. And so we're moving out of the mental mind mode in which we created through this mode of feeling. And it's the adjustment periods along the way. It takes a little bit of adjustment to this process of trusting, being vulnerable, but the vulnerability subsides because you start seeing things, start showing up. And really when you finally really make peace and relax into what the isness is, then the floodgates just open. A lot of us tend to talk about what's happening. Like for instance, someone asked me, so Muriel, how's business? How's your personal life? What if it's a friend or whatever? And so immediately I'm so in the present, in the now, that there's really not much to talk about. It's like I said, the floodgates open and you start really getting into the flow when you're done with the recalibrating and really lining up with that manifestation. There's so much in which I had created all the way up to this point of the shift. And so all the energies are just this big buildup happening. And I'm tuned in and tapped in so much that I just literally, that's why I love this video. I love this topic today, is that it's so much something, it's almost like hard to form words. That's why it's amazing how I'm sitting here talking about this, because it's the boredom, it's the nothingness, it's the nowness, it's the presence, it's the being in the movement and spirit and movement and action in the new now moment, and always in the new now moment. And it's so brand new, and it's like nothing happening. Sure, I could turn on the news, and that's how I keep up with it, because that's what I do. I keep up with the world's happenings. So have the understanding that it has very little to do with me in the sense of my emotional well-being. But I like to keep up with it because I'm interconnected, and it's just, we're in that, we're all connected here. And there's a big change in the climate, a big change in everything that's going on socially, coming undone for a reason. And I love to be informed in that stuff. But this blindly manifesting is that it takes courage for those who really are just going for it, going all the way. And may this help you too, hearing these words, because it's not easy sometimes just to sit and wait and then keep waiting and be very patient and humble and thankful and grateful. And it raises your frequency, and then it gets boring, and then you rest, maybe go to sleep and wake up, and then you have your food, which you're grateful for, and the water, and we continue on because you need that to keep the body going. And the embodiment, just moving through this realm after you have no identity. And when that happened to me, moving now in this new nowness of this frequency is intriguing. My mind is going, wow, look at this. I don't really have much business here. Not much. but so, yes, and the ego as well, uh, which is what it's like an anchor into this realm. But we can keep that in check. But the heart intelligence and the heart space is just trumps over uh, anything of having for protecting of the self, or not feeling secure or safe, or not being well, the I'm not okay, how, what, when, where, and what, everything about everything. You're just so very now because you've come home to yourself, and yes, you'd become the anchor into the present moment. And there's really nothing here. There's no price tag to it. There's nothing to sell. There's nothing to buy. It's just the experience of being in this realm and having an awareness of who you are. And it's awesome. It's really cool because now you have a choice to be an anchor down into the body and have a regular life, have that normal life you always wanted without having to be a superstar about everything. You know, we're not going towards a world of full of healers or gurus, or the spiritual community is building itself up for this grand happening to ground back down again into the now moment. So uh, when I started doing this stuff, I thought I was going to be doing it for the next whatever 20, 30 years. Back then I had this like whole projection into, wow, look at this, and you could do whatever you want. That's not what's being said here. But there's also the space happening, is that we have the opportunity to literally just be very present and just choose anything we want to experience at any given moment. Say we want to go somewhere, take a trip. I mean, just not even that. Just take a walk down the road and come back, or work your days out at a regular job, or do your regular thing and take care of yourself, and just wait out the storms. And because there's awesome stuff coming towards us. I mean, what I'm feeling now is just, this is the time out, and it is like zooming towards us really fast. And this year is going to be amazing too. A lot like last year. It's more of like the last 2019 or 17 and 19, where we were just there was a lot of dynamics happening. But this one's brand new. So we're blindly going into a new way of living without the brain being so investigative into curiosity of what's happening here. It's more of going, oh, it's sitting back going and enjoying the show, going, what's going to happen there? What's going to happen here? I got to keep you safe. All of that. No, this feeling mode, this was the feminine. This is what we were all been waiting for. And the more the earth comes undone and does its activity and changes, and more worlds come forth and more dimensions open up, we'll be experiencing a lot of cool stuff here. So thank you so much for listening today. And until next time, namaste. Thank you.